Hey guys, so it's 2019, and I definitely didn't need to tell you that. I really hope you guys had a great Christmas and an awesome New Year. Hopefully you got some extra time over the holidays to spend at the kit, get some more practicing in. 2018 was definitely a harder year for me. The first 3 months of the year, I was working retail. I really hated the situation I was in. I had a tough time getting out of bed every day, to be honest. The only thing that really got me out of bed and kept me going and kept me motivated was the fact that I was building a band at the time. I was super stoked with the band and really enjoying the trajectory we were on, and a lot of good things were in the future for us. As of March, I had enough money saved up and enough plans on the horizon with my band that I could quit my job. So I did. I left my job and I took on the band full time. We had all kinds of things going on, recording sessions, music video sessions, live performances, showcases for labels, stuff like that. In time, it deteriorated more and more, and unfortunately, as of June, that band broke up without even releasing. I had invested thousands of dollars into the band at this point, so I found myself broke and without really a sense of purpose. In return, because of this, I really sunk into a deep depression for the matter of months. I eventually picked myself up, got off the couch, got off the video games, stopped eating the fast food, and I decided, all right, well, if I'm going to do anything, the first thing I have to do is get some funds together, because right now I'm broke and my savings are gone. I landed a job at a warehouse, sort of on an assembly line. I started that job at the end of June, beginning of July, and I was still pretty depressed at this point, but things were starting to look up for me. Halfway through July, near the end of July of 2018, I was searching for a what's next. Do I start a new band? I had all these contacts and all these people that I could pull from, but I didn't really know what to do next with it. What I decided was, I have my YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel since 2012. I've never really focused on it. It's always been on the back bench compared to the bands that I've played in and sort of the tours that I've done and the traditional sort of music career avenues that I've walked down. And in realizing this, I was looking at my YouTube channel and I thought, you know what? For the first time, I'm going to take that on as my priority. And maybe putting all my focus and energy into that will bring about something good for me, and I can get out of this funk that I've been in of joining a band, it breaking up, and me moving on. So that's what I did. If you're one of the people who checked out my week in the life video, you know what my life looked like from the beginning of July all the way up to December 14th. So for those 5 months, I did almost nothing for enjoyment. I mean, other than playing drums, that's certainly enjoying for me. And that's really what made it tolerable and livable. I was getting up at 2 a.m., working on covers all morning until I went to work, working all day at this shitty warehouse job that I couldn't stand, coming home and editing until I went to sleep and then passing out. And that was sort of my retaliation, my reaction to where I found myself in life after all these attempts at making it in bands and it just not working out. As hard as it was for those months and as difficult as it was to get myself out of that depression, that funk, I'm so happy that it happened to me because it really forced me down this path that I've walked in the last 5 months, and it's brought me where I am today. As of December 14th, I quit that job because I was making enough money from recording and working with other bands along with my YouTube income to walk away from that for good and start sort of a new chapter in my life. So most of 2018 being extremely difficult for me brought about such an amazing ending of a year and circumstances that in my mind will for sure bring about an interesting and most likely very exciting 2019. As of October of 2018, I think we were around 5,500, closing in on 6,000 subscribers. We finished off the year at 18,200 subscribers. Today is January 3rd and we're already at 18,311 as of 5 minutes ago when I checked the channel. I am really enjoying creating this new content for you guys, and from the reactions that I read in the comments every video, it appears that a lot of you are really benefiting from the lesson videos that I'm posting, and that truly means the world to me. Despite 2018 being a tougher year for me, we definitely got some pretty good records. My favorite record of 2018 definitely has to be Holy Hell by Architects. I cannot say it was my favorite Architects record. I think my favorite still Lost Together, Lost Forever, but for 2018, it was definitely my favorite record overall. Another great release that I really enjoyed was Erase the Pain by Palisades. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check those guys out. I got the pleasure of spending 2 weeks on the road with them when I was 19 years old. They definitely left a lasting impression on me. Their drummer Aaron is fantastic and he's got such a great personality. So definitely go check those guys out if you've never heard of Palisades. I'm sure most of you already listen to them though. Another great record that I really enjoyed was Disease by Beartooth. I did cover the title track, Disease. I have a lesson video for that as well. You will for sure see some more songs off that record in 2019 as covers and lessons on my channel. Dance Gavin Dance dropped Artificial Selection. While this is one of my favorite records of 2018, I still enjoyed Mothership more. I think Mothership came out in 2016. Nevertheless, still a fantastic release. They had a bit more of a lighter feel to this record. A lot of the songs were more sort of radio friendly and poppier feeling in comparison to how heavy their last record was. That being said though, I still really enjoyed that release and I covered one of the songs off it, and I have plans to do more for sure. A release that I really slept on and I wish I hadn't was Dark Skies by Fit for a King. I saw the record get released, I heard about it, lots of people were talking about it, and I never really stepped up and listened to it just because most of the Fit for a King records were just a little bit too heavy for me. But checking out Dark Skies recently in the last couple weeks, because of recommendations from you guys, I found the record to be definitely more of a traditional sort of metalcore mainstream sound, and that's really along the lines of the music I listen to, as all of you know. Because of that too, I decided that my next cover, dropping next week, will be a song off of that album. And yes, there will be a lesson video to go along with it. I really did too enjoy Godsmack's release, When Legends Rise. I thought that album was really awesome. Definitely a rock record, not really inside the realm of metalcore, but I did enjoy jamming that. I'd like to probably get in some covers off that record in 2019. A couple of the singles that I really enjoyed jamming was All Out Life by Slipknot. That was an awesome release. I promised that I would do a cover of that, and I have let you down. But don't worry, I will get it up. It's coming. I need your help though. For some stupid reason, I can't figure out how to line it up in my DAW. I can't seem to isolate what the actual tempo is, which I guess can be kind of embarrassing as a drummer. I mean, I should really know how to do that. The other tough part about that song too is that the drums are played at full velocity. So the dynamic is forte or double forte or whatever, yet they fade the gain in. So it's the volume that's bringing it in. It's not the actual playing or velocity. Because of that, I don't know really how to start it. Do I wait until 8 measures in and then start on like the next noticeable downbeat? I can't really decide. It's kind of an awkward song to sort of cover because of those reasons. I've watched some covers where that's the case, where 8 bars in they'll just start, and then I've watched some other covers where they sort of play it as a dynamic fade, where they play it as like a double piano and then up to forte. I can't decide on how to handle that. That's been the biggest reason why I haven't covered that. I want to do a Slipknot cover so bad. After Fit for a King, I plan on doing Slipknot next. If not All Out Life, I think I want to do Psychosocial. I've loved that song for a really long time, so you'll probably see a cover of Psychosocial and All Out Life. Those are sort of the 2 Slipknot songs that I've decided on. And I mean, plans for those songs are just in the immediate future. Who knows what down the line we'll do? Maybe I'll cover some more off of their older stuff. And then the final sort of single that I really enjoyed from 2018 was As I Lay Dying's My Own Grave. I want to cover that song for sure. I sat down with that song and started to learn it. I realized 2 things. One is my blast beats are not fast enough yet to cover that song. I've always been sort of more of a power focused drummer and never really spent a whole lot of time on speed. The sticks I use are Thomas Lang's signature series. They're almost marching sticks. They're so big, so they're not ideal for blast beats. The configuration I have as a drum set doesn't really have a ride cymbal, so that makes it tough to play blast beats. I have a lot of space between my beater and the batter head of my kick drum too, so once again, same thing. It's for power and playing complex rhythms instead of playing just sort of right, left fast. But I really have been practicing my blast beats, and I'm gonna start doing some songs with some blast beats in it in 2019. I gotta get a ride cymbal, and we're gonna make that happen then. The other thing too is I want to step up my configuration so I can do more heavier songs with blast beats in them. You guys have been requesting August Burns Red tracks for a while, both on my YouTube channel and on my social media pages. I for sure am going to get around to covering a Matt Greiner track. I learned Whitewash way back in the day along with a few other of their songs on my electric kit, and I was planning on doing them as covers, but because I don't have all like the effect symbols, I mean back then I didn't have a stack or a splash. Now at least I have a splash. Because of that, it was really hard to recreate those songs on my kit. That all being said, I'm going to make that happen. It's just a matter of time. So outside of music, some of the things I really enjoyed during 2018 was some video game releases. I spent a lot of time playing God of War for PlayStation 4. I really enjoyed that release. That was probably my favorite release of 2018. The story in that game is so incredible. And then outside of God of War, one release that I really slept on and I wish I hadn't of, I picked it up December 26th, Boxing Day. I went to Best Buy and grabbed it, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been playing that in the evenings since the 26th, which I guess is like a week now or so, and that game's awesome. I really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto back when that came out, and this is just another Rockstar game. It's literally Grand Theft Auto but cowboy version, which is sweet. So looking to the future for 2019, what's in store? I'm not too big on New Year's resolutions. I've never been really that guy who's, you know, New Year, new me, setting, you know, these groundbreaking phenomenal changes in place. I typically make those kinds of changes throughout the year, to be honest. I never really wait around for the new year to do that. Although I did this year set a few New Year's resolutions, which I think is the first time ever. The first resolution I set for myself is that I want to start reading every day. I used to read all of the time. I was huge into books. I read a lot of self-improvement books, self-help books to sort of get my life on track in the early years of learning how to drum and starting my channel and working with bands and trying to figure out sort of my place in the world for that matter. And in the last few years, I've slipped off that habit and I haven't been spending nearly enough time in books. All of 2018 went by and I didn't read a single one. I watched PewDiePie's video that was titled, in 2018, I read 721 books. First sentence he says in the video too is, I didn't read 721, it was actually 72. But nevertheless, 72 books is still super impressive. That's more than a book a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. He read 72. That's really phenomenal. I don't know if I'm going to set a number on it as much as I want to sort of restrict myself to a certain amount of time per day. I'll do a video in the future on what a day in my life looks like now. It's definitely changed since December 14th when I quit my job. So while a lot of you know what it looked like before that, it's been mixed up since. The first 30 minutes to an hour out of bed in the last 3 days, I've spent reading a book. The book I decided to start the year with is Extreme Ownership: How Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink. If you're a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, Jocko's been on twice now. He's a Navy SEAL commander that served 2 tours in Iraq, I believe. The book is so fantastic so far. He basically takes these crazy examples of military lessons that he learned about leadership and other really, really great sort of life traits, and then he describes the lesson and how he learned it in combat, but then he comes back and he presents it in a way that you can understand for sort of modern life. Another resolution I set for myself is taking cold showers. Again, if you're a follower of the Joe Rogan podcast, you might have heard the episode where he had Wim Hof on. Actually, I think Wim Hof's been on twice now. Wim Hof is this crazy mofo who does all these insane world records. 2 of the records that he set was, one of them was he ran a full marathon in nothing but underwear north of the Arctic Circle. Another one of the records he set was he climbed Kilimanjaro in nothing but shorts and his climbing boots. The dude is absolutely crazy. I'm not looking to go to that level, but listening to him talk and explaining the purposes behind exposing yourself to extreme cold and extreme heat really fascinated me. And because of that, that's my second resolution. I want to boss up, stop being such a pussy, and take some cold showers. My third resolution is meditation. Around the age of 17, I spent some time fooling around with meditation and it changed my life and my outlook on life. I need to get back to that. My fourth is something that I've had on the back burner for a long time. I really wanted to get into ever since I watched Game of Thrones and I followed Jason Momoa on Instagram and saw his crazy posts about rock climbing. The dude's got these insane videos of him hanging upside down by his fingertips off rocks and stuff like that. I really want to try out rock climbing. I think I've done it like once. I did it at a birthday party when I was really young. Do any of you guys rock climb? Let me know. Let me know how I can get into it. Do I take lessons? Where do I even begin? I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked into that at all, but that's definitely something I want to take advantage of and get into in 2019. My final 2 resolutions follow a similar theme to meditating and reading books. I did these once upon a time. I benefited from them then, and I want to reintroduce them into my daily life. And those 2 are, I need to start playing guitar and piano again. Outside of drums, I did spend some time at points in my life playing those other instruments, but they've kind of been long forgotten in the last 4 years or so. So now that I'm not working, I'd like to get a few hours in each week on those instruments and just expand my music vocabulary. So 2019 is going to bring some exciting changes for our community. I'm going to be releasing merch soon. You'll see within the next 10 days or so, a merch store released. I'll do a video on it and show off some of the designs I have. I only actually have one design so far. It's a t-shirt and it'll come in 3 different colors to start. I can't wait to show that off to you. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know what I'm talking about because I've storied about it already. If you do not follow me on Instagram, you need to. Another change for the community that will be coming in the future. This one won't be so soon. I'm going to be launching a Patreon page. Basically right now, I'm just determining on what subscriber levels will have what benefits. Some of the benefits, and I won't say what levels they'll be at just yet because I haven't fleshed that out, but some of the benefits are going to include access to a private Discord channel with members of the community where I'll be sharing drum covers and drum lessons ahead of time before my YouTube page. I'm also going to make available on my Patreon page at certain subscriber levels downloadable NKIs for my current drum set as well as future drum sets as I get them. I'm also going to go back through all of my covers and transcribe as many as possible and list them for Patreon members to download. So these are just a couple of the benefits that I've been toying with. I'm working on getting some of these ready right now, and you will see in the next couple weeks my Patreon page launch. And then the final sort of change that's going to be implemented, I don't know how I'm going to do this yet. I'm sort of mentioning it because so many of you have requested it and I don't want those requests to go unanswered. I will be implementing private lessons. I used to teach private lessons years ago, but they were all in person. So I will make a video in the future when I am accepting new students and how you can go about signing up. So don't worry, just keep tuning into these videos and you can get involved in that if you're looking to do so. I'm taking on 2019 with a very ambitious approach. I've set some pretty big goals for myself and I plan on working like hell, hopefully, to achieve all of these. The first goal that I want to hit before the year is up is I want a subscriber button on the wall behind me. I would love to get to 100,000 subscribers. That's probably one of my main focuses for this year. I want to grow this fantastic community that we're building as big as possible. So one of the other smaller goals that I've sort of set for myself is I want to start doing remixes of rap and pop songs. So another thing I'm really looking forward to in 2019 is what tech will come out. There's rumors that Apple is going to release a fully modular Tower Mac Pro once again. This definitely interests the hell out of me because I'm really due for a new computer upgrade. A lot of you have asked what kind of computer I use, whether it's a Mac, a PC, what is it? At the moment, I do all my editing, even some gaming, on a 2012 15-inch MacBook Pro. The computer has a 256 gigabyte solid state drive. It has integrated graphics that are the equivalent of a GTX 650M, so a very outdated card. And it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM with an i7 chip. As long as I'm not doing any sort of graphic work, the computer does get me by, especially because the CPU is an i7. It's an older generation i7, but it is an i7, and 8 gigs of RAM isn't too bad for light audio editing like I do. Now that I've sort of stepped my game up from iMovie and I'm in the Premiere Pro space and I'm doing videos daily, that GTX 650 is very outdated, and I do need to step up my card and my build. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but the fact that Apple has announced that really interests me because I'm very comfortable with iOS and OS X. While I've owned this computer since 2012, of the 7 years that I've owned it, 4 of those years I did have Windows 10 installed on a partition, and I was running that in parallel to OS X. So I am very familiar with Windows, and it's not that I dislike that operating system, it's just that I am most familiar with Logic X, and that has really kept me on OS X. I've played around with the idea of switching over to Cubase 6.5. If I go a PC build route and I don't go with that Mac Pro, that's probably the direction I'll go. I'll switch from Logic X over to Cubase, and I'll continue with Adobe Premiere as my video editor because obviously that works on both operating systems. Another reason why I need a new build so badly, and it's probably going to be a PC, is because I want to start streaming on Twitch. At the end of the day, just about every day I spend at least an hour, some days 2, maybe even 3, playing video games, and it would be so awesome if I could share that experience with my community and get you guys in games with me. I want to set that up for sure. I'm just limited by my processing power right now. We're going to make that happen this year for sure. Some of the other tech I'm anticipating is the cell phones that are to come out this year. We're set for an iPhone 11, and of course every major jump from the iPhone 10 to 11, or from the iPhone 7 to the 8, or the 8 to the 10, or now the 10 to 11 are usually very big jumps because we have a redesign in the body and typically some major features added. The 0.5 years where they do the iPhone S versions generally are just an upgrade and maybe some more RAM or a better CPU chip, but this year being the iPhone 11 makes it really exciting. And what's really interesting for me, and I doubt any of you guys know this unless you know me in real life, I don't own a cell phone, and I haven't owned a cell phone in 4 years. There is a bit of a reason and story behind why I don't own a cell phone and why I consistently for so long haven't bothered purchasing one, but that's definitely a story for another video, so we'll talk about that somewhere else because this video will get way too long if I get into it here. The new concepts that have been leaked for the Samsung S10 look absolutely stunning. I was really impressed with the OnePlus 6T release, as well as the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. The cameras on those guys look insane. The OnePlus 6T is the lowest price point for such a strong flagship phone, so that's another thing I'm really interested in checking out. I'm not sure. Maybe this will be the year I get a phone, maybe not. Who knows? I might go 5 years without a phone. We'll see. Wrapping up this video, I'm really excited for 2019 and everything that it has in store for all of us. Thanks so much for watching this video and participating in this community. Bring Me the Horizon dropped a new song earlier today, so I'm going to wrap this one up and go film a review video for that guy. I usually say see you soon with something new, but you're going to see me tomorrow with that review video, so I will see you tomorrow in that review.